You said the world needs power, I won't disagree. There's heat in the ground and the wind runs free. You call nuclear the future, but it won't power itself. Nuclear relies on coal more than coal needs itself. You said crypto was coming and demand would explode, that AI would load what the grid couldn't hold. But SMRs stay delayed, no ground ever breaks, and the public pays out while the promise remakes. You said it's the hour, but the plan's still the same. The technology is analog from the Cold War days. There's no place for the waste, and yuccas refused. Vented dry cast containers become the only refuge.
Hello, welcome back. Dana. You can call in at 709-589-4406.
You say you lead the charge with a federal hand. Would you vote Price Anderson or stand with the land? You call it advanced, but the cycle's well known. Still chasing a fuel that should have stayed in the stone.
There we go. Looks good.
They brought...
My apologies. We're almost there. It's known as the Enrichment Man. You can find it at James Lewis's site on YouTube. There's links below to there. And he just put out a really amazing song Thursday. Bear with me. I'll put a link there for you, actually. Hello, everybody. So we got some updates on Israel and Iran. We're just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Just put a link there in the description for you to James Lewis's site, where you're going to find that song, The Enrichment Man, and the most recent song you just posted. You might be interested. Really good stuff. It's got 300 plus anti-nuclear songs on that site. We're very anti-nuclear, in case you haven't noticed it. Let's get after this because it's Saturday. All right, here we go. Israel Defense Minister threatened to burn Tehran. Tehran is mostly made out of cement and steel. It's a city, right? How are you going to burn that unless it's a nuclear weapon? They've never been attacked before, and so now they're in total shock. They're like, you can't go attacking us. We're Israel. We've never been attacked before. We've never had the damage to our cities like we're seeing. They're in total shock, eh? They're in denial. They actually attacked somebody that can fight back, and now they can't handle it. They're like, we're going to have to nuke you. You can't go attacking us. We're Israel. Why are you special? I don't understand. It's a pretty strange ideology, right? Let's check our poll out before we jump into this. Is 41 years of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claiming that Iran has almost has a nuclear weapon, fear-mongering. That's 41 years of Benjamin Netanyahu. Right? He originally made the first claim in 1984. That's 41 years of him saying that Iran's almost got the bomb. 41 years of demonizing Iran. 41 years of vilifying Iran. 41 years of isolating and ostracizing a country because of these false claims. These are false claims. Imagine if they'd done that to Israel for 41 years. Isolated Israel. I just don't understand the mentality of Israel can do no harm when clearly 41 years of demonizing a country, that don't qualify as a harm. What does? Israel, that was Katz, right? He's got Israeli Katz. He's got a history of just being sadistic. Israel issues a warning to Iran's supreme leader. The Tehran will burn. And Tehran is burning, isn't it? Ayatollah Khamenei, that Tehran will burn if it continues to fire missiles at Israel. If it continues, what's it supposed to do? Just sit there. Just sit there and let Israel do whatever they want. You're not allowed to fight back. You can't fire missiles at Israel. Israel's a friggin' angel. What kind of mental illness is that anyway? Oh, you can't fire back. You can't fight back. I never heard of anything so stupid. When I read that, I blew up laughing. I was like, well, what the hell are they talking about? This is the only time in their history that they ever attack somebody that can fight back. And they're in shock. They're what? They're fighting back? People all over Israel are freaking out. They can't believe Iran is fighting back. You're just supposed to sit there and let Israel beat the shit out of you. You're not allowed to fight back. For 41 years, Benjamin Netanyahu has never had to deal with consequences. 41 years of demonizing Iran. Oh, they're almost got nuclear weapons 41 years ago, and every couple of months the same thing. They're gonna have it. We better do something. It's such a bizarre statement, eh? The Iranian dictator is turning. Israel's not a dictator. You see what they just done to Gaza? My God, boy. Imagine if that happened to Israel. Well, it looks like it might happen to Israel. The Iranian dictator is turning the citizens of Iran into hostages. Israel got their anti-missile systems right in the residential areas. They're holding them as human shields by doing that. They got the Mossad bases right in downtown Tel Aviv, is it? It's right in the middle of the city. Which means that if you're going to attack Mossad is attacking everybody all the time. At some point, somebody's going to attack them back. No, they didn't attack Mossad's headquarters. They attacked the civilian population. I mean, they've never been attacked in their country before, per se, right? It's always been staged. The Katyusha rockets, which are garbage. It's like firing a great big firecracker. It's a mental illness. Do you really think that people shouldn't attack them back? Iran is turning its citizens of Iran into hostages. What are you talking about? You've isolated them through land, sea, and air embargo for decades. You caused the hostages and created a reality in which they, especially the residents of Tehran, will pay a heavy price for the criminal attack on Israeli civilians. Well, Iran is not attacking civilians, they're attacking the military targets. Israel attacks the civilians. Look at Gaza. Case in point, Really, what an arrogance to say that. Israel, just in the first 2 months, well, the first month and a half, dropped the equivalent of 2 Hiroshima nuclear bombs on the civilians. But here they are screeching, crying, whining and sniveling because Tehran has hit them back. You can't attack us back. They're all confused, right? That wasn't supposed to happen. Or nobody's supposed to attack them back with real weapons. It's such a strange statement. We'll pay a heavy price for the criminal attack on our Israeli civilians. That's how they, in their compartmentalized little tiny itty bitty world, they probably believe this. They probably can't conceive that somebody attacked them back. It's too much for their little tiny peanut head to comprehend. Continues to fire missiles at the Israeli home front. Tehran will burn. That's a nuclear warning. That's a nuclear threat. We talked about this in the last video. So we had done my last video, I was just basically being an asshole. And I came out and said, should Iran preemptively attack Israel? And we're halfway through the show when Israel attacked Iran. And I couldn't believe it myself. I was like, nah, what's the coincidence, the odds of that happening? So it's actually a really good video. And I mean, nobody was expecting Israel to attack on Thursday, right? So and it raises an interesting question because all this alleged talking, this was the setup so Israel can get ready to attack. There was never an intention of actual having because they never did have a face-to-face meeting, so per se, right? Like they would with any other country. It was third parties in different countries. And we even acknowledged it didn't look genuine at all. And it wasn't. It turns out it wasn't. Right? The alleged talks between Iran and the United States over nuclear was a setup, right? So the country wouldn't think for a second they were going to be attacked. That's how they pulled off the attack. And then the Mossad went in the country, a terrorist cell, and they call themselves Mossad. That's what they call, if it was done to their country, it's called a terrorist sleeper cell. But if Mossad does it, it's heralds, right? There's this mental illness for these people that are involved in this industry known as a military-industrial complex. They actually have a mental illness. Once they get out of the military-industrial complex, some of them wake up and have pains of conscience. Not many, but some. I don't think Benjamin Netanyahu will have that issue. In an apparent failure of the Iron Dome air defense missiles launched from Iran managed to breach the system. Well, the Iron Dome is meant for the Katyush, the Hamas, the controlled opposition's punk little missiles, right? They're not very... they're not GPS. They're just randomly shot like a fireworks. And when they land, they don't do jack shit damage. In comparison to the smallest weapon Israel might use, is 100 times more powerful than the Katyush rockets, which is what the Iron Dome, which is absurd to call it an Iron Dome, protecting Israel and hit Israel's defense headquarters. Well, that's not the civilian population, it's Israel's defense headquarters. Right, but it was categorized for attack on Israeli civilians, but in the same story, it's defense headquarters that they hit. Let's go back to Benjamin Netanyahu 40 years ago or so.
Nobody wants peace more than Israel.
Israel doesn't want peace. Its entire country is a militarized country. Why would he want peace?
Mr. Natai is a...
If Israel gets peace, they won't have a nickel. They don't have an industry. Their industry is weapons, right? And soldiers, so to speak, right?
Mr. Natai is a...
So his name back then was Natai, not not Netanyahu, but Natai. See that? That was his name back then. He changed his name to sound more Israeli, right?
Graduate of MIT, he is an Israeli, and he is a man who has written widely on this question before the House tonight. Mr. Natai, is the issue of self-determination the...
Self-determination. Think about this headline here. I killed 13 Palestinian kids, not Hamas soldiers, not warriors, but kids. And he put this up on his Facebook and his Twitter account. He's got tens of thousands of hearts and likes. And people told me he was a hero. It's but that's the culture. But if you attack them back, you have attacked the civilians. If you shoot your kids, you're a hero. That's one creepy cult is what that is. Iran vows a severe punishment. That was no secret. On Israel, after top commander, did Israel really think they weren't going to strike them back? So now, if they don't stop striking them back, and why would they? Israel's not going to learn a lesson if you just give them a smack on the wrist. Iran has vowed to respond harshly to Israel's strikes on Tehran's nuclear facility. It's taken out top Revolutionary Guard generals and academic scientists. Israel launched a targeted... This is assassination on top of that. And this was a sleeper terrorist cell from Israel. Israel should never, ever complain about terrorist cells again after they done it themselves. Israel launched a targeted military operation in Iran's capital. This is a country that is the entire collective punishment by Israel through land, sea, and air embargoes for decades. That's collective punishment. That's a war crime. In an effort to roll back the Iranian threat to Israelis' very survival. But that's what they've been saying for 41 years, that Iran is going to have the bomb real soon. And for 41 years, they've been wrong. 41 years. 41 years. And there is no evidence that they were close to a bomb this time. Same as for the last 41 years. No evidence. But has been used to collectively punish every human, every child, every person in the country. And ostracize the country from being able to have... So they become a militarized country. After being ostracized from the world for so long, what's going to happen to any country? Are they not going to hate the people that are doing it to them? Is that unnormal to hate the people that have ostracized you from the world, from economics, from having the freedom to import or ship? Or you're creating terrorists, per se, or people that don't like you by doing that to them, aren't you? Israel launched a targeted military operation in Iran's capital early Friday in an effort to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very existence. But this is what they've been talking about for 41 years. They've been making that claim. That claim has never come to fruition. How come I only got 4 likes? Why am I censored so heavily? I didn't do nothing, only be an honest person. I'm not a lawyer like the mainstream media. I'm actually a good person. Google doesn't allow good people to exist. They only allow degenerates. If you go look at the Israelis, the pro-Israeli They're getting hundreds of thousands of views on the stupidest videos you've ever seen. The most brain-dead people I've ever listened to. They're getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views, and people are donating tens of thousands of dollars to them every friggin' day. And they're literally morons, incapable of having a rational conversation. They're put on a pedestal as if they're like gods or something. Let's get through this anyway. We're just doing an update. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei responded to the airstrike with a warning that Israel will face a severe punishment. Of course, why wouldn't he? Isn't that his job? That's his job, isn't it, to come out and say that? Explosions boomed across Tehran as simultaneous raids took place at nuclear military sites. And so we're very concerned now that we have a radiological event now that will destroy species and cause millions of people to get sick with heart problems, liver problems, and lung problems, respiratory and pituitary and thyroid and adrenaline problems. Iran vows to respond to attacks. Israel targets Iran's nuclear sites, military commanders in a major attack. But it had about 40 years of isolation, too. It's called collective punishment. Stocks tumble, oil soars as Israeli strikes on Iran roils the investors. So they're causing markets to crumble, people to lose their life savings. Warplanes target Iran's nuclear sites as Israel braces for missiles and drones retaliation. And so they acknowledge this right away. And so when it happens, Israel's defense minister comes out and says, if you don't stop it, we're going to nuke Tehran. These are some of the first headlines that showed up, was this type. Friday the 13th headlines. Israel says its jets attacked dozens of targets in Iran in Operation Rising Lion. They always got to give their some stupid, idiotic name. Why do they always use such stupid, idiotic names? Watchdog in contact with Iran over radiation levels. Let me go back to that one for 1 second. Next one's a video for you, but Watchdog in contact with Iran over radiation. We got some great stuff, by the way, coming up. Watchdog in contact with Iran over radiation levels. So the International Atomic Energy Agency is the one who gave Israel a lot of its information. Iran would be stupid to ever trust them again. And I can guarantee you, the International Atomic Energy Agency is not getting any information out of Iran. So, and they're out there saying there's no changes in radiation levels, but they struck the enrichment where there's only pure uranium-235. And so there's no changes? Do you really think that we're that stupid to believe that? They're also saying that no missiles are getting through. All the media, particularly Israeli, is out there making the claims worldwide that nothing is touching their country. The Iron Dome stopped the hypersonic missiles. And Iran hasn't even started using their sophisticated drones yet. Sure looks like they're getting struck to me. None of those missiles were stopped. They're all getting through. Maybe 2% was stopped or something like that. yet the media is saying that none of this is happening. Supreme Leader warns of severe punishment. The Zionist regime committed a crime in their country at dawn, revealing its wicked nature by targeting residential areas, which is true. There was over 300 people injured. There's 70 plus dead in just the first rounds, right? I'm just astonished that they can't own up to it, that Israel can't own up to what they're doing. Now they're playing the coward card. Oh, they attacked us. You sent in 200 jet fighters. What do you think was going to happen? And the trolls from Israel online, they got to be the stupidest people I've ever seen. What's up with that? They don't got any intelligent trolls? Like, they live in such a bizarre fantasy. They think the rest of the world doesn't know what's going on, hasn't worked out their scams. They're insane. The world has changed dramatically just in the last 10 years alone. People are not naive or stupid. So why are they? Well, because they live in this idiotic world where everybody hates them. Nobody hates them. We just dislike them because they cause so much misery for people. This regime must await severe punishment. Everybody knew this is what was going to happen. Last year, Iran defeated Israel's defenses twice. And that was the only time they've actually ever attacked anybody in decades. The crime, the Zionist regime has brought a bitter and painful fate upon itself, and it will certainly face it. So now they're panicking, like, oh my God, you got to stop attacking us. We're Israel. Nobody's allowed to attack us. Israeli defense minister threatens to burn Tehran if the attacks continued. It's so strange. It's so strange to live in that world. Entire families wiped out by Israeli airstrikes because they can't defend themselves. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. But you can't go attacking us back. No attacking us back. That's crazy talk. We'll nuke you if you go attacking us back. It's very difficult to like anybody in our country. They make it they don't act normal. They're better than everybody. Well, you can't attack us back. We were talking about that on Thursday's show. Israel has never had their place destroyed looking like Gaza. It's never looked like Gaza. That's the problem. That's why Israel is like it is in the first place. Iran shows the bomb damage. These are residential apartments. Benjamin Netanyahu has threatened to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. For 41 years, he's made the shocking claim that they have nuclear weapons. Not a one and done. Israel's campaign could last days, as could the Iranian response. See, Israel has never had this done to them. Israel's never had to rethink. Right? They inflicted the misery, but they've never actually experienced it. The generations that live in Israel has never experienced that. I mean, 54 million people gave their lives to free Israel from the so-called Nazis. 54 million people died to liberate them, and all they've done is created this misery since they existed after that. And they've never had to face the consequences. I was listening to Ritter Ritter's a asshole too, right? Like myself in many ways, but he's a bigger asshole than I'll ever be. And he's deep intelligent agency, this creature right here. But so Napolitano, who I'm not very fond of either, but I was listening to him.
Hypothetically, if Iran had complied with everything we asked for, could we have avoided this? No. Why? Israel. Israel wants regime change in Iran. That's it. They view the Iranian regime as an existential threat, and the United States is a supporter of Israel's strategic objectives, and we share that objective until which time the president issues a finding that says that we no longer are seeking regime change. The CIA and other U.S. entities are working with Israel to achieve just that, and we're seeing it play out today live in Technicolor.
In the Middle East, there are 90,000 American troops spread across a variety. You've told us this, spread across a variety of locations. Should we expect a false flag? Israel attacks the American troops, claims it was Iran, and Trump unleashes them.
So you're talking about a false flag, and this asshole here, he's an ex-Iranian, but he's clearly a Mossad asset.
Just give me a second, guys. Okay, now reports of explosions at the airport in Baghdad in Iraq. This is where the United States troops are stationed. The Iranians are now attacking the US bases in Iraq, of course, using their proxies. This would drag the United States into this conflict, even though the initial reaction from the Americans was that we have not been coordinating with Israel. Israel did it on its own.
So he's saying that Iran attacked Baghdad's airport, where the troops are, American troops are.
I think we can show you. This is the statement we received from Marco.
That's simply not true. I went out and looked for evidence of it. Iran attacks U.S. base in Baghdad. And this was a few hours later, and I found no evidence to support his claim whatsoever. Brian S. stands with Israel. Really? Do you? So you think this is okay, Brian, to go in and destroy the country? Do you? You stand with that, do you? Is that what you stand with, Brian? You stand that's okay for you? You're saying they attacked the civilians. Does this look like a military site to you, or does this look like civilians? You're saying Iran attacks civilians, Israel attacks military sites. Does I killed 13 Palestinian kids? Is that what you support, Brian? Is that what you support? Do you support that, Brian? I'm waiting for your answer. Let's hear it. I want to hear Brian say that's what he supports. Do you support that, Brian? You said you stand with Israel. Then you stand with that, do you? Come on, big shot. Let's hear it. You don't agree with being against Israel? What kind of fucking mental illness is that? You're not allowed to be honest. You can only be one side, no matter how many crimes they commit. You're not allowed to be against Israel. Disagree. What are you talking about? You're refusing to acknowledge it. We're not disagreeing. The fuck are you talking about, disagree? You fucking weasel. So that's okay, therefore we disagree. Really? What you're doing there is called mental illness. You fucking weasel. The fuck are you doing on my site, you fucking weasel? So we disagree on that, do we? You fucking little prick. You fucking prick. You disgusting maggot. Get the fuck off my site, maggot.
From here, but it's war. But you have to keep in mind, Nima and Larry, that Iran is very much alone. This is NATO supporting this genocidal regime. You've seen the French and the Germans and others all siding with the Israelis, saying they have the right to defend themselves. This was unprovoked. The German statement that someone read to me, Ali Nima read to me, said that Iran was violating its regulations in the IAEA, which is not true. Iran is well within its rights, according to international law, to do what it is with its nuclear program as we speak.
People are fucking nuts. Don't fucking patronize me. I'm an actual good fucking person. It's 41 years of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claiming Iran almost has a nuclear fucking bomb. Fear-mongering. It's a real simple question. That's what it is. Not maybe, not perhaps, not almost. That's what it is. It's fear-mongering. If you can't be honest, what the fuck are you doing on my site? Clearly, I don't pick sides. I pick facts. Israel strike. Trump says attack on Iran is excellent. Because it turns out that there was never really negotiations. This was to disarm Iran so that they can get at scientists again, as we've seen many times over the year. And then they get upset because Iran struck them back. Oh, we're going to have to nuke you. You can't go fighting back. Israel's never had that done to them. All the bombs that struck Israel from Hamas, which was controlled opposition, were superficial. They've never been hit by real bombs before. Israel launched dozens of strikes against Iran. Israel launched it in the middle of peace talks. There was never peace talks. That was the setup to disarm them so they would drop their guards. Early Friday morning local time, Israel launched dozens. It was a lot more than that. It was 200 jet fighters, so it was definitely more than dozens of fucking strikes. Can't tell the truth, see? They just can't tell the truth. And the people that defend them lives in that exact same paradigm. They can't tell the truth. And they're gonna support a genocidal, omnicidal country because they refuse to acknowledge the truth. It's just mind-boggling. It's just disappointing that people like that could actually exist. That they're so compartmentalized. They know they can't justify it, right? But they're obsessed with trying to pretend that they can justify it. It boggles my mind. How can we have a future with people on our planet with that ideology? A missile attack against the state of Israel and civilian population is expected in the immediate future. This was all, I mean, that came hand in hand with the attacks. Was that Iran was going to attack him back. Iran attacks him back, and Israel has a panic attack. They actually have a panic attack, and all the media, I mean, this headline today, in the last 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, it must have showed up 70, 80 times. 70 or 80 times. The defense minister threatened to burn Tehran if Iran doesn't stop attacking them back. If Iran doesn't stop fighting back. Unless Iran sits there and lets them destroy them like they've done to Gaza, and they've already burnt Gaza, it's equal to at least 20 Nagasaki bombs worth of weapons dropped on Gaza. Because Gaza doesn't have tanks, Gaza doesn't have jet fighters, Gaza doesn't have drones, Gaza doesn't have a military or a navy or an air force, Gaza doesn't have a military industrial complex, Gaza doesn't have weapons that even comes close to anything Israel has. Israel has no worries. That's the only people they fight in their entire history. They went down and finally attacked Iran after demonizing them for 41 years. And Iran punched them back and not very hard, all things considered, compared to what they've done. The whole story is absurd. Air raid sirens sounded in Tel Aviv. They don't have air raid sirens in Gaza. Or bomb shelters in Gaza. They bomb Gaza into non-existence. If Gaza fights back, they all run to their bomb shelters where they got all kinds of food and water and entertainment. The word, when you look up the word coward, it should be a picture of Israel's flag. I think it's been excellent, Trump, the dump said. We gave them a chance, they didn't take it, they got hit hard. You never gave them a chance, you set them up, you fucker. You set them up so that they would drop their guards, and then Israel came in and attacked them. You had no intentions of negotiation. You never even tried. It wasn't a real negotiation, was it? They got hit about as hard as you're going to get hit, and there's more to come, a lot more. But don't fight back. You're not allowed to fight back because Israel can't win a war if people fight back. They can only win the war if no one fights back. Tell me that's the society that we should covet. Like shit for brains Brian tried to say earlier. Moron Brian Esther came in and made these bizarre statements. And he knows better. He's been on my site before. He should know better. He knows I'm not going to fucking tolerate that. Shows you how fucking stupid these people actually are. You got to be stupid to do that to me. When asked if the United States participated in the attack in any way, Trump responded and said, I don't want to comment on. No, he set it up. That was the setup. Of course they participated in it. And he's acknowledged that now. Where do you think Israel's getting all their fucking weapons from? Israel is not able to produce sophisticated jets and stuff like that. All they do is steal other people's ideas. They're not a country that has a product that anybody, like I can't name you a single product from Israel. A TV or a phone or anything, helicopters or something. I can't name you anything. They're not a country of innovation. They're a country of just destroying things. That's all they're good at. It's a militarized country. Everything is a nail, and all they got is hammers. It's a moron society. The society of Israel is there to support the 2 million ultra-Orthodox head-banging Jews that don't work, that don't have an education, that only reads 2 fucking books. That's what the population of Israel is for. It's there to support the nut jobs, the bizarre fucking idiots, the ultra-Orthodox Jews, which is Benjamin Netanyahu is aligned with. And his youngest son, when he was 15 years old, won a contest because he could recite any paragraph or verse of the Torah or the Talmud on demand. That's fucking brainwashing on a different scale that is not normal in any other culture. Israel says strikes on its nuclear. Iran says Israel strikes on a nuclear facility or a declaration of war. Yeah, of course they are. If Iran had struck Israel's nuclear facilities, would that not be a declaration of war? You're not allowed to have logic when it comes to Israel because Israel's a mentally ill fucking country, and they live in their own little fucking fairy tale land. They can't deal with anybody outside of Israel because we're not mentally ill like them. So when they talk amongst themselves, they sound reasonable because they're fucking all crazy. But the minute they have a conversation with anybody outside their country, they realize that they're fucking idiots. Because that's what they are. 41 fucking years of saying Iran is going to Iran is going to get a nuclear bomb. I apologize. I always butcher the name of countries. Except for Israel. It's easy to get Israel because you're so used to calling them assholes. And Operation... And they always got to give themselves these fancy names. Operation Rising Lion. And Iran should come out with Operation Lion Stomper or something like that. Because like, they're crazy when they give themselves these names. It's meant to justify crimes against humanity is what they're trying to do. Trump urges Iran to make a nuclear deal with the next planned attack even more brutal. So he's trying to disarm him again by doing that, see? What a fucking piece of shit he turned out to be. I gotta be the only video about Israel on the internet that doesn't get any views, any thumbs up, any likes. I wonder why. The country said it targeted dozens of targets, including Iran's nuclear facility. How can you say dozens of targets when you got 200 jet fighters? We don't even know if that's true. I know they lost 2 jet fighters. 2 jet fighters got taken down. Looks like 1 pilot killed, 1 captured. Well, they've never had anybody shoot back at them before. They must have shit their pants, eh? They ran at it. They're pretty quick. Iran denies reports of launched drones at Israel. Yeah, there's no evidence of the drones. I've been scouring for footage. It's not that Iran doesn't have drones. It's not that we didn't expect Iran to use drones. And I can guarantee if the footage existed, it'd be all over the place, right? I don't look at YouTube for this kind of stuff, right? It's a waste of time. Striking the heart of an Iranian regime, Netanyahu looks to his legacy. New York Times. What a bizarre headline. What a disgusting paper to write something like that. Netanyahu could bolster his national standings ahead of a general election next year. Like that, whoever wrote that story is clearly, he's the Times Jerusalem bureau chief, for goodness sakes. What a delusional headline to write, though. Can you imagine what kind of bizarre creature he is? Imagine trying to have a conversation with Patrick Kingsley. It'd be like talking to one of the ultra-orthodox Jews and ask them a normal question. He'd look at you like you got 10 heads. Striking the heart of Iranians regime. Netanyahu looks to his legacy. The Israeli regime is quite extraordinary. Qatar. And Thule was saying that Hamas had surrendered. You remember I played a little clip of him earlier. He was saying that Qatar is now on Israeli's side. These are simply not true stuff. Right? Clearly this guy is a Mossad asset. He was going back and forth to the Mossad's website over and over. And he came out with all this absurd propaganda I've never heard anywhere else. You can tell he's a tool, right? He's just a useful tool for the military industry, but he likes blogging, right? And he's always got the number of his subscribers on his screen, as if that makes him real. He had like 900,000 subscribers. He had 20,000 people on his stream. I got 14. That's because I'm censored heavily. Yeah, I bet so, eh? What a fucking piece of shit. Brian turned out to be. Iran live. Israeli attacks on Iran killed at least 78 people. International Atomic Energy Agency to convene an extraordinary meeting. Well, the reason that Israel was able to target Iran's facilities is because International Atomic Energy Agency gave them all the information so they can do exactly that. And so Iran would be insane to let the International Atomic Energy Agency back in their country. You would have to be insane to even let them near you anyway. These are degenerates. Their entire legacy is degeneracy. "45 years ago, Iran waged its own preemptive strike on nuclear facilities." Yeah, that's true. We know about that. 1980, Tehran ordered a surprise airstrike on Iraqi's nuclear facilities that Israel will destroy 8 months later. This was a French-built reactor. French. The French are such disgusting politicians and governments, eh? The French government, the British government, the Australian government, the disgusting Canadian government are some scary examples of how corruption destroys a country. Statement on the situation. These are the worst humans imaginable. The International Atomic Energy Agency. They're not a regulatory agency. They don't have any sovereignty over any country. Why is anybody allowing them to dictate anything in any country? It doesn't make any sense. They're the same structure as McDonald's. They're not a legitimate agency. They're not a regulatory agency. They're not a regulatory agency. Is something your country has, not some. You don't allow another country to come in and dictate what you do you? Well, this is even worse. You're allowing a military-industrial complex known as UN. This is what Eisenhower called UN, was a military-industrial complex. George Bush Sr. called it the New World Order over and over and over in his speech that I play here many times. I'm not going to play tonight probably, or today. Early this morning, International Atomic Energy Agency was informed of a military operation launched by Israel, which included attacks on nuclear facilities. First off, they knew exactly what was going to happen. How do you think Israel got that information? They got it from the International Atomic Energy Agency. We are currently in contact with the Iranian Nuclear Safety Authority. Simply not true. There's zero possibility Iran is going to be talking to them ever again. It's zero possibility. The International Technical Institution entrusted with overseeing the peaceful use of nuclear energy and also as the watchdog. So how can you be both? And who entrusted you exactly, specifically, your institution, to oversee the peaceful use of any technology? You don't have that authority. You don't have any sovereignty over any country. You're not a regulatory agency. You can't compel any country to do anything. Therefore, fuck you, Brian, you piece of shit, coward, for saying what you just said. You low-life piece of shit. You fucking scumbag. What were you doing on my site, you disgusting parasite? You low-life parasite, man. You coward. You disgusting coward. You hide away like a coward. International Atomic Energy Agency is the international technical institution entrusted. They're not entrusted. They don't have any authority. They're not a regulatory agency. Don't believe anything that organization, which should be charged with crimes against humanity for what they've done at Fukushima alone. I wish to inform the board that I have indicated to the respective authorities, because they're not an authority, my readiness to travel to at the earliest to assess the situation and ensure the safety, security, and non-proliferation in Iran. What kind of delusional statement is that? What kind of bizarre freak of nature statement is that? Iran should let you back in there and then put you in jail for the rest of your fucking life. You piece of shit. Is Iran as close to building a nuclear weapon as Netanyahu claimed? For 41 years, since 1984, Benji has claimed that Iran almost has a nuclear bomb. For 41 years. If that's not fear-mongering, what the fuck is? Really? Netanyahu critics are saying he acted to preempt something else, a diplomatic agreement between the United States and Iran on a civil nuclear program. It turns out that's not true either. That the alleged talks were about disarming Iran so that Israel would have an easy target. That's all that was about. They pointed out that Israel has been saying for 20 years that Iran is on the brink of building a bomb. It's not 20 years. It's 41 years. Since 1984 was the first time Benjamin Netanyahu had said that. I played a clip earlier when he actually had a full head of hair. He was really young. And his name wasn't even Netanyahu at all. He had a different name when he was giving testimony, didn't he? It concluded could not verify Iran's civil nuclear program was exclusively civilian, but it did not say Iran was on the verge of a nuclear weapon. No, it came out the same day that Israel bombed them. That's not a coincidence. That's the cover story. That's the justification. The International Atomic Energy Agency came out and claimed that Iran, and then Israel shows up a few hours later and bombs them. You really think for 1 second that that is a coincidence? You really think for 1 second that it wasn't coordinated? If you think it wasn't coordinated, there's something wrong with your head. You might be Israeli or something. Why did Israel attack Iran in the middle of the U.S.-Iran nuclear talks? There was no talks. That was to set up to disarm Iran so they would have access. Iran wasn't looking for anything suspicious. And Mossad was there with drones, a terrorist cell known as Mossad. That's a terrorism cell, what they done there. That has all the attributes of a terrorist cell. Israel attack on Iran put a leader addicted to war in the spotlight. This is the Globe and Mail. This is one of the worst scumbags we got in Canada. Even they're going out and attacking Israel. That's hilarious. Never seen that one coming. Israel's attack on Iran puts a leader addicted to war in the spotlight. This is the Globe and Mail. I was reading that last night or this morning. I can't remember. Last night, I think it was. Yeah. One of the last headlines I read last night. For more than 600 days, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has waged a war. For 41 years. First on Hamas, then Hezbollah, then Houthis, now in Iran. With occasional airstrikes targeting the new government in Syria. But they didn't get attacked back. The minute they got attacked back, the first time in their history, they actually been hit with real bombs. And they came out and panicked. Look, total fucking panic. Israel Defense Minister threatens to burn Tehran if Iran keeps fighting back. Oh my God, they're fighting back. They're in total fucking shock. They can't believe he's fighting back. Well, what are you doing fighting fucking back? If the war stops, Netanyahu's right-wing nationalist coalition likely falls apart and he goes to jail. If he's not in the prime minister's chair, Benji, whatever his real name is, he would almost certainly be back in court facing corruption allegations that could see him jailed for up to 10 years. they can't. The minute he's not a prime minister anymore, he's going to be arrested, and not for a genocide. This is how he's staying out of jail, by carrying out a genocide. There's also an international criminal court warrant for Benji's arrest in connection with the alleged war crimes the Israeli military committed in Gaza, not to mention questions about what he knew about Hamas's plan and what actions he did and didn't take on October the 7th. We've covered that. We covered that on the last show. Let me put that right there for 1 second. Let's just talk about that for once. There's two facets that I want to cover. First off, this is Benjamin Netanyahu.
Mr. Natai is a graduate of MIT. He is an Israeli.
That was his name back then, Natai. Now it's Benjamin Netanyahu.
And he is a man who has written widely on this question before the House tonight.
Right, so
Nobody wants peace more than Israel.
that's him there. He uses that exact same sentence today, doesn't he? Well, let's go back to October the 7th for a minute. Israel stood down. This interview is really important. And if you haven't seen it before, you really desperately need to see this.
When I saw the attacks, my first thought, literally, was, how is this even possible on that border that it could be breached?
So they're going to talk about October the 7th and how there was no military response. She's ex-IDF intelligence, and she's now a journalist, and she got documentation from people in the area where the alleged Hamas came in, right? She tells an incredible story that has never been debunked.
By so many people simultaneously. One would have expected, if an attack had been successful, that the number of people who got through initially would have been small. You know, if 5 people had gotten through out of a military force of 100 and had done some damage, that would certainly be noteworthy and would be considered an embarrassing failure for the IDF and the security services of Israel. But to have hundreds get through and operate barely impeded for, was it a full day almost? This seems like it is not. If somebody submitted it as a script, you would say that is implausible. And so it did lead me to wonder what could possibly explain such a failure. Incompetence seems inadequate to explain it. Now, you're in a position to say more about this because you have manned that border.
Yeah. It's very hard for me to talk about it because it's there are so many friends and family members of friends that are missing and have been taken hostage in this barbaric acts, that talking about what I know sometimes feels like, why is this important now? And at the same time, I know that if we don't talk about this, then we will just let them off the hook once again. Because to me, and I will explain why I think this is a great atrocity. Because to me, it's I don't know how to say it. It's just the people of Israel have been, I don't know if sacrifice is too rough of a word, but we have been sold and sold out completely. And no help for hours and hours, and no military involvement, no police, no arms on the ground for hours and hours. This is something that is non-typical and unusual for Israel Defense Forces. Now, I've served in the military forces 25 years ago as I was in the intelligence forces based in the Gaza Strip, as I told you. And I know the security drills. When I served, there was no internet. So I would sit next to the phone in my shift of the fence of the security of the Gaza Strip. And whenever something would move alongside the fence, I would get a phone call from the human observers that are looking at the gate, telling us there is a chain of command that you have to notify when something like this happens. And then straight away, forces come in to look at what is it and take it down.
So what do you mean when something moves by the fence? How small is something?
It can be a pig. It can be a cat moving alongside the fence or touching the fence or trying to cross the fence. An animal, they would identify it. They would see it.
A cat gets scrutiny.
Would trigger. Yeah, it could trigger the fence. Yeah.
And
an animal.
25 years later with
25 years later with internet and with the most sophisticated high-tech weaponry systems like drones, like there is a special system, I don't know how to call it in English, it's called seeing shooting. That's a literal translation from Hebrew to English. Seeing shooting. It's a robot that sits on top of a tower looking at the fence, and whenever something triggers the fence, which has sensors on it, it's supposed to shoot. It's like automatic, right? And there are drones and there are helicopters and there are troopers on the ground. And, there are many things that are supposed to be activated. There are various lines of defense and layers of defense that are supposed to be activated when something like that happens.
Okay. So I just want to make this clear. I mean, it probably is, but you have a system that is sensitive to anything the size of a cat or bigger. That system, since you were manning it, has had 25 years to mature and become more sensitive, to become more discerning. And yet, how many places was that border breached?
15.
15 places
if not more. Yeah. 15. And that is completely ridiculous because normally with one breach of the fence, the whole army is triggered and things start moving immediately. Things start moving immediately. And here there was nothing for hours. And so I want to talk about some of the explanations that have been given so far. There are some unbacked. I have to say that these explanations are unbacked by any evidence or proof so far, but they have been thrown out to the air or to the mainstream media. It started with Iranian cyber attack that took down the IDF tech infrastructure that was running around for a while. Okay, that because they took down the
So they blame it on Iran right away. Whatever happened, they have a fucking snowstorm. They blame it on Iran. If somebody cuts their toes, they're going to blame it on Iran. Like the society, Israel can do the ideology that Israel can do no harm, even though they're committing genocide. Well, they can't do no harm, so it can't be a genocide, Dana. Just shut your fucking pie hole, you shit for brains. We had a guy here just a little while ago. We tried to get him to acknowledge that this is wrong. Fucking no way. I support him, he says. Anyway, no matter what you do. Oh, okay. How are you supposed to have a conversation with anybody that stupid? How does that work? How do you live in that fucking paradigm? And now they're being pummeled back and they're lost their minds. The fate of Gaza's 2.1 million inhabitants seems to be a little concern to Benjamin Netanyahu, gleefully seized on Trump's unworkable suggestion that Gazans could be given a new home elsewhere. which is called forced displacement, and it's a war crime. It's a well-known war crime tactic. And then when he criticizes Netanyahu and his war or Israel at all, he slaps with allegations that they're somehow anti-Semitic or supporting Hamas. Criticizing any... And that's such a weak attack right there. If you're criticizing for being evil, disgusting parasites, you're anti-Semitic. Go fuck off, boy. Try saying that to my face and I'll show you how little you know about humanity. The timing of the strike also has the helpful cover of an International Atomic Energy Agency. The helpful cover, the timing of the strike. Just hours before that, IAEA comes out and says that the first time in 20 years they're outside of the perimeters, which still doesn't warrant 200 jet fighters coming into your country. That's a declaration of war on its own. Indeed, Netanyahu's order to attack came one day after it was announced Trump's special envoy would hold a face-to-face talks in Oman on Sunday with the Iranian foreign minister. No evidence suggesting Iran was on the verge of developing a nuclear weapon. For 41 years, that piece of shit has been saying Iran is almost got a nuclear weapon. For 41 years. And no one's allowed to call him out on it. The media is, you don't have a media that's going to do it. If we don't do it, nobody's ever going to do it. If I don't do it today, nobody will ever fucking do it. Israel and Iran conflict expected to hike U.S. gas prices. That'll climb pretty quickly. They don't want you panicking. So they're trying to sugarcoat everything. It's definitely time to panic. But Iran has just proven that Israel can't stop them, their weapons. And Iran has only been sending their older, outdated ballistic missiles. They're old ballistic missiles. They're not using any high-tech stuff. That's coming, though. They got hundreds of thousands of sophisticated drones. They haven't sent any of them yet. The first 100 missiles were meant to see what Israelis' defenses were like currently, and which countries were going to help shoot the missiles out of the sky. And so they're locked on to all these little countries in the Middle East that are defending Israel's and stopping Iranian missiles. They're going to get taken out really soon, I would imagine. U.S. aid Israel in intercepting. So the first couple of volleys are just meant to see what your opponent's defenses are. That's what the first couple of volleys are going to be all about. Israel attacked Iran with the ideology that there's nothing going to happen to them. Clearly, they didn't think it through. Like, it's just another day for them, right, to go in and do what they've done. They do this in all kinds of countries. But Iran is giving a taste of their own medicine. They've never felt that before in their own country. They've never had an apartment building look like that in their own country before. They've done that, but that's the first thing they do to every country is they attack the civilians. And so when they come out and make the assertion that the defense minister made earlier, just let me look at that again for you. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Dana.
What's Calm Down Charlie calling me for? Is that who Brian was? Was Brian S. Calm Down Charlie? That was pretty weird. Oh well, don't worry about it. Let's keep going here. Just let me fix that. There we go. That was Calm Down Shirley. That was weird. Tell you, it's that time of day, I figured he was raping his puppies at this moment. Israel's Defense Minister Katz issued a strong warning to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, that Tehran will burn if it continues to fire missiles at Israel. They really didn't think that was going to happen? They've never had it happen before. See, they're total friggin' panic. The warning came after Iran struck the Israeli defense headquarters. Not the civilian, but the defense headquarters. So he will pay a heavy price for the criminal attack on Israeli civilians. Has anybody seen what they fucking done to Gaza? That's all they're attacking is the civilians. But anybody attacks, which they didn't, by the way, right? They attack our civilians. They attacked the defense headquarters, and then the next time he opens his mouth, we'll pay a heavy price for attacking the civilians. Well, if they work at the defense headquarters, then they're military, right? In our case, this is all I can tell you. There's two faces of populations I don't know who else to compare it to. U.S. aids Israel intercepting Iran's retaliatory strikes as the conflict escalates. Israel's never seen that before. The whole population's just in total shock. They don't know what to do now. They've never been attacked back with real weapons before. And the reason is because they've never fought a real military before. They've always shot the fish in a fishbowl, right? And then my kid's going to be a soldier and his kid will be a soldier and they'll shoot the fish in the fishbowl. That's what they're used to. They've never fought a real military. This is nothing. All Iran is doing is testing their defenses. Iran can unleash like 1,000 ballistic missile drones to take out every apartment building if they wants to in Israel. Like Israel has already done to Gaza and had done to Syria and had done to Iran and Afghanistan. And this is why they got worse and worse and worse over the last number of decades, because they've never been hit back. There's no repercussion for being evil. We're at a decisive moment in Israel's history, Netanyahu said in a recorded video message. A decisive moment in Israel's history. Yeah, I'll say, you picked on the wrong one is what it is. Would roll back the Iranian threat to Israeli survival. But that's 41 years of that narrative. Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying this since 1984. And I should never have more likes or more votes than likes. And I should never have as little as 12 or 13 likes. I've been doing this show 5 days a week for over a decade. I've been live for as long as live streaming's been around. People live in this fantasy. They can't beat you in a real argument, so they make fun of you, or they go all kinds of other routes, but they won't have a debate, a real debate, right? They just, you won the conversation every single time. Adding that the operation rolled back the Iranian threat to Israeli survival. This narrative doesn't make any sense. They just destroyed an entire country for kicks. The whole country participated in it. The whole country sat in silence and encouraged it. Right? Because they have this mental illness. Israel braces for a new wave of Iranians' missiles as UN ambassadors say 78 killed, 320 wounded in Israeli strike. UN ambassador. The lowest forms of life is anything from United Nations. And that's in Iran, where 320 wounded. And all Iran is doing is testing their defenses and using up their inventories, and then Iran's going to come in with the heavy loads, sustained for extended time. I don't see Iran like just giving him a smack on the wrist is not going to be a deterrent to a delusional country like Israel. Iran and Israel reports casualties on both sides. Israel began launching preemptive strikes. When it happened, I was doing a video. Should Iran preemptively strike Israel's military bases and nuclear sites? Because all the narrative that day on Thursday was, to anybody that was reading and paying attention to stuff, was saying, well, that there's a war about to start somewhere in the next number of days. I wasn't expecting it to start on Thursday. And so as we're doing the show live, Israel started striking, and we found out about it when we started looking it up during the live show. Sure enough, and so I was right. Iran should have. Now, so if it was Iran, say in Turkey, and I put that video out, that's fine. But because it's Iran and Israel is paranoid, the whole population paranoid about anybody criticizing Israel. They're so delusional. You're not allowed to have a conversation. You're not allowed to criticize anything. No matter how evil they are, you're supposed to acquiesce to it. Shut the fuck up, boy. You fucking morons. You're stupid idiots, boy, to think that. To not think it, to be delusional enough to buy into it when you know the difference. There's no way you don't know the difference. But to buy in and regurgitate that narrative, what the fuck is wrong with you? What happened to you as a child? What did your parents ever do to you when you were a child? It should be investigated. Israel begun launching preemptive strikes. Yeah, well, Iran is launching preemptive strikes now. Iran also shot down 2 Israeli jets on Friday. They captured a female pilot. Of course, Israel is going to be out there saying she's getting... Air raid sirens sound across Israel following Iranian missile attack on the country. It was a response, not an attack. You got to call it what it is. If it's the other way, it's a response. If Iran does it, then it's an attack. And they didn't even spell Iran properly. Look at that. IRNA. That's on purpose. They done it in capital letters, too. How can you do it in capital letters and get it? So that was a slur by one of the biggest medias on the planet, the Associated Press. It says the Iranian military has dubbed as Operation Severe Punishment. Who cares what they dub it? It was a retaliatory strike. The army has ordered residents across the country to move into bomb shelters in Israel. Because why does Israel have so many bomb shelters? Because they're fucking over everybody they can fuck over in the Middle East, right? So it's bound to come back. It's bound to come back and haunt them. Will Israel and Iran escalation go nuclear? Well, Iran doesn't have nuclear. Israel does. Today, Iran has over 400 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60%, but that's not a nuclear weapon. It's far from a nuclear weapon. Netanyahu has multiple reasons for launching an attack. He has barely survived a confidence vote. Ow, that's pretty good bludgeoning. For 41 years, this bizarre weirdo, Nika, or whatever the hell his name was, changed his name to Benjamin Netanyahu, claims Iran almost has nuclear bombs and fear. Is that fear-mongering? If it's not fear-mongering, what the fuck is it then? right? If it's not fear mongering, what is that? 41 years is saying they almost have a bomb, and using that to demonize an entire country for 41 years. Demonizing the country for 41 years. Demonizing a country for 41 years. If that's not fear-mongering, what actually is, I wonder? His alliance with the far right, this is back to Benny, has trapped him into a permanent war in Gaza. Not trapped him, he's loving every second of it. So is Israel. Make money, all these weapons. That's how Israel makes money. Right? They start wars, and that's how they get their money. Without war, they ain't got jack shit. They're all in the military, so they can't. The reason they're employed and there's all this money is because they're at war. That's their bread and butter. Tel Aviv hit by Iranian missile strikes. It's hit by retaliatory defensive strikes to try to keep the bully off him for a while. Dozens of missiles in retaliation. For 41 years, Iran has been demonized, and so is everybody else in the Middle East, by Benjamin Netanyahu. And then in his current map, he wiped Palestine right off the map. He's shown a map of Israel without Palestine. Do you got any idea how insane that actually is? But it's not a big surprise, is it, when you think about the fact that for 41 years, he has made the completely false, 100% false and delusional claim that Iran has a nuclear weapon. That's a delusional claim for 41 years. And so the Iron Dome that all the media is claiming, I'm going to show that video again. This is almost every single missile is hitting the ground. So why is Israel and other media is claiming that this is not happening? Why are they claiming to burn Tehran if they don't stop? Because they've never been hit by this before. He's no longer just laughing at everybody. Now they got to look at the damage. Everything got through. The fishy story is the Israelis' Iron Dome is not designed for these types of missiles. If it hits any at all, it's a fluke, basically. It's 41 years of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever his real name is, that I showed you earlier, video, claiming Iran almost had nuclear bombs. Is that fear-mongering or not? Because that's important. Like it's look at this. Because they got hit back. They're threatening to burn Tehran if the Iranians keep defending themselves. Iranians rather keep defending themselves. They're going to burn Tehran. They're not used to any. Not like they're shocked if someone defended themselves. That's how they're acting. What you're seeing them there is shocked that somebody is fighting back. He's in shock. He's like, holy shit. I thought the Iron Dome couldn't be. I thought we were safe. We're not safe. We're going to have to nuke Iran. Iran could do this again. And all Iran, rather, is doing is testing their defenses. The real pain is about to come in. This is why he's saying that he's going to burn Iran, because he's worried that Iran, and he knows Iran is just testing their defenses. Their defenses are failed. This is a crazy story. How a surge in late-night pizza orders, the Pentagon predicted Israelis attack on Iran. Pentagon Pizza Report and the Countdown X with 60,000 followers posted a photo on Thursday night of a traffic surge at Domino's Pizza in Arlington. 10-minute drive from the Pentagon. They count monitors online orders for pizzerias near the Pentagon and the White House and post screenshots of when they're busy. That's such a strange one, eh? What a friggin' idiot place that turned out to be. Social media users were quick to point out the connection online when one comment reading, "That was a great catch. Within an hour, bombs were flying in Tehran." Pentagon Pizza reports screenshot data from Google, scumbag Google, which uses an algorithm to track what time of the day certain businesses are popular. Google displays the graph when someone uses the search engine to look up a business. So this is probably an inside job, right? Israel and Iran live. Hundreds of missiles launched by Tehran. Tel Aviv rocked. Oil prices are soaring. Yet Tel Aviv never ever had damage like that in their entire history. No one's ever hit them back. They're in total just disbelief. What can't... I thought the IDF were special. I hear most Israelis are turning against the government now because the government can't defend them, right? They just sink into them, really panicking. Iran's forces are ready. That's not good for Israel. Israel's never fought a real war. And the United Kingdom and France and the United States ain't going to stop all those missiles either, or drones. Like they can send 1,000 a day every day for years and not run out of their current stockpile. Who knows? After all these decades of just beating the shit out of everybody, you might have just pushed them too far. They might just say, "To hell with it, we don't care anymore. We're just going to take you out." Who's going to blame them? Saturday warned that the country's armed forces are fully prepared to confront Israel. That's not good for Israel. Israel can't fight a real fight. They can't stop all of this. They can't invade, take over Iran either. And if the more they attack Iran, the more weapons Iran can send at Israel. Like Iran is talking about taking out these little countries. They don't matter. If Iran launches a 500 or 1,000 drones and ballistic missile combinations a day for a few days in a row, Israel crumbles. Israel can't withstand a beating. It's never experienced it. The population is already psychologically beaten because they no longer feel that the country can protect them. They're not used to it, right? They got generation after generation after generation enforcing the myth that Israel is great and Israel is the best military in the world, but they've never been tested in real battle. And Iran is a long way away. They can only defend it for so long, even if they could successfully defend it. They can. But even the defense that they got in Israel is not going to last more than a couple of days. This is why, right? This is why you're seeing the panic from the defense minister, because 2 or 3 days it is, and the country's going to revolt. And they're not going to be able to go after Iran anymore because Iran has already shown them what for. They're not going to be able to beat Iran up. If Iran hits them with hundreds and hundreds of drones and Scud missiles and ballistic missiles, which they can easily do, for 2, 3, 4 days, Israel falls apart. And then all of the Middle East is no longer scared of Israel. That's what's going to happen here. And Britain and Australia and United Kingdom pitching in won't be able to stop it. And so they're going to lose all respect too. Right? And this myth of superiority, the solution now is you just bombard Israel. Israel can't defend itself. So every attack will be the same from any direction. We'll be just keep hitting them for days and Israel can't defend it. Right? The myth is now gone. If Iran chooses to go that way, all of a sudden the myth is broken, right? And here's the proof. He threatens to burn Tehran if the attacks continue. You know why he's threatening it? Because they can't fucking stop it. That's why he's threatening that. Iran launches hundreds of ballistic missiles on Israel. This was just to test their air defense, and their air defense fucking flopped. Iranian missiles penetrated Israelis' air defenses Friday. How ironclad is the system? So a lot of questions are about to get answered. It's not ironclad at all. Look at him. Somebody's fighting back. I can't believe it. And Benjamin Netanyahu led you into all of this on top of that. 41 years, he finally got his own way. 41 years. It took him 41 years to get his own way, and now he's getting the shit kicked out of him. And they're not using nuclear weapons. They don't got jet fighters attacking you. They're just going to pummel you with the slingshot of Persia. It takes a couple hours for the weapons to get there. And still can't stop it. And those little countries that are stopping some of it on the way there, you got any idea how easily Iran can take them out in 6 or 7 hours? You can take out those countries. Right now they chose not to, but that's not going to last forever. The myth of Israel is about to be broken. Is my take on this. I'm pretty good at analyzing stuff. I got a tendency not to talk about shit I don't know nothing about. On top of that, when I talk about something, it's because I fucking know about it. I'm well versed and I have the documentation to back up my assertions. I'd rather talk about nuclear, but because we got nuclear site got hit, we're expecting radioactive fallout soon in the next 3, 4, 5 days in North America. And you can't destroy one of these facilities without huge radioactive fallout. I was going to do a video yesterday, but I was so tired. I was so burnt out. I'm so busted up from all the work I do. I couldn't do it. I just didn't have the energy. So I was gathering up information, trying to figure out the story. What's going on? How's this going to play out? And anybody knows me knows what I'm like. The censorship is something late again today. It was only daytime. What time is it here? Well, this is early for me. Normally my shows are usually just before midnight my time. So it's not even 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm probably going to go out and look for, see if we can find any birds, because Fukushima's wiped out all the species. Or I don't know, was that Calm Down Charlie or not? Because I know there's a few people can call in and mimic him pretty good now. I'm starting to wonder, did I make a mistake there earlier? Who knows? That couldn't have been, maybe that wasn't Calm Down Charlie. Let me try that.
The subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after.
So let me do that one more time. That was weird. Let me see what they actually say. I'm just curious.
The subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
I don't know. That was weird. A U.S. ground-based air defense system in the region. We're hoping to shoot down Iranian missiles. So they had help from the U.S. Russia is saying that UK is involved. New York Police Department bolsters security local Jewish sites. Not at the Iranian sites, but just Jewish sites. How come they're not bolstering security at the Iranian sites? Words of Iranian retaliation. More fear-mongering, right? Israel's National Security Council is urging Israelis and Jews across the world to be on high alert for Iran-backed terror attacks. Shouldn't Iran be doing the same thing? I think the Muslims should be worried about Israeli Orthodox Jews and the rest of them attacking them. Can't just be one-sided, can it? I just despise the, and there it is, look, members of the Orthodox Jewish communities. They can take care of themselves. They're fucking crazies. Damage to Iranian nuclear sites so far appears limited, expert says. I don't see how it's limited because these buildings are concentrated, right? So in the scope of things, they're not that big and they're dedicated to that single job, right? It's not like it's a complex. The buildings are, so if you attack the building, and the weapons they were using is typically total destruction. We're talking about jet fighters, right? We're not talking about small munitions. We're talking about jet fighters. And so the radioactive fallout, we're very concerned. After Fukushima's already destroyed the planet, the radioactive fallout. Israel attacks succeed in killing Iranian military leaders, nuclear scientists, striking military command control facilities, air defenses. The satellite images does not yet show significant damage to the nuclear infrastructure. Several experts, not just one, but several. So why don't they name those experts? Is it a crime? Because you know it's going to be one of the public relation firms. And why would they frame it that way? Well, if that's true, then show us the fucking picture. So they're not showing us a picture. So what's going on? How come they're not showing us a picture? Yeah. Right. Hello?
Oh, it's a dino!
Oh, it is?
Why you not block me?
Oh.
Usually block me.
Oh, it's, that's Calm Down Charlie. And so it really is Calm Down Charlie. I was just checking there, scumbag. Just hang on a second there now. I blocked you because you're a scumbag. Nothing personal. I know somebody says he wants to call and debate me. 7 Loons 462. Give me a call and debate there, Loons. Bring it on, baby. Yeah, that was Charlie. Yeah, call it. Loons says I'm full of shit. Well, give us a call, Loons. Let's hear it. What are you waiting for? Let's see how full of shit I actually am. Let's go. Come on, man. Stop your posturing. Give us a call. He knows Dana's full of shit. Well, give us a call and debate me. Come on. Tough guy. Let's hear it. I'll give you a shot at the title here. I have evidence. Is the reason can't want to debate with me, because you're going to choose the typical apologist narratives. And I have all that stuff nailed down solid. I'm not going to get into, I'm not going to do presentations like this without documentation. I'm not arrogant because I'm just some random person. I'm arrogant because I have the documentation. I'm not arrogant either. I sound arrogant because I'm being honest. Call me and debate me. You said, can I call in and debate me? Where's that comment to? There we go. You got my number. Hang on. So I got Dana's number. Can I call and debate? Yes, of course you can. What are you waiting for? He knows Dana's full of shit too. Which means you're full of shit, aren't you? Phone's not ringing. Trying to make me look bad in the comments section, were you? That's pretty desperate, man. Hang on here. No, I never had an extra. Wait for it. I'm getting a little slack here sometimes. I had two lights right here to my right. I'm touching one and the other one. I'm touching the other one. There's two. These are $150 each, little small lights, and they're to fill up the little gaps in the light, the big lights, right? And they're specially colored for photos and videos. Pain in the ass little lights, but they're really good for filling in all the gaps. I have 6 of those lights so you can see the bald spots in my head. Now, I done it to myself, and that's your typical. I pulled the hair out of my head. It didn't follow like everybody else. UN Nuclear Watchdog Chief, the grossest of grossies. Where's that fucking troll? He didn't call in. Which means she's out molesting one of his puppies, no doubt. Right? Like he gets in the comments section, I have Dana's number, can I call and debate it? And then he insults me. I tried to call him, went straight to voicemail. Of course it didn't go to, how could it go to fucking voicemail? The phone is right here. I'll put the phone number up again. Maybe you're just stupid. Hang on. Even stupid people like you deserve an opportunity. There's the number, scumbag. Give us a call. Oh, there you go. Dana Nasana put the number up there for you. 709-589-4406. Dana's already got the number there in the comment section for you. You're not going to make Dana do all that work and not call in, are you? Or you got to get your mommy's permission first. That's okay. Get your mommy's permission and give me a call. If she lets you. You fucking wanker. No, can't cure stupid. Yeah, attack me in the comment section and claims I won't answer the phone or get a voicemail. What a freaking weasel. Albright says there's thousands of centrifuges at the underground plant at Natanz, and knocking out the electrical supply would bring into play a backup battery system. He said it was like that Iran was shutting down the centrifuges at the underground site in a control matter, which was a big issue because they were talking about batteries, was it? So the levels outside the reactor that they blew up, or the centrifuge site that they blew up, which is, that's all, like, they're attacking a nuclear site. You can't blow up the main reactor or nuclear facility and not have radioactive fallout. And And we're talking about high level radioactive fallout. We're talking about like pure uranium-235 concentrated. So how can the levels remain the same? How does that actually work? Iran says nuclear talks with the U.S. is meaningless after Israeli attack. Well, you have to acknowledge it. You don't need to, but you got to acknowledge it, right? You got to acknowledge that after 41 years, the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Israel country claiming Iran almost has a nuclear bomb is fucking fear-mongering. That's 41 years. They still got no evidence, and then they go in, they blow up the facilities, say, ha ha, have a nice day, scumbag. And this is a country that can fight back and does. And now the defense minister knows they can't fucking stop it, so they panic. And they're like, oh, you got better stop it or we're going to burn Tehran, which is mostly made up of cement and steel. The only way you're going to burn that is if you use nuclear. And how else are you going to burn Tehran's a huge place. How else are you going to burn it? Do you really think you're going to get away with it? You already shot down 2 of your fighter jets. You think they're not ready for the next round? Guess again. That's desperation, eh? Iran might as well keep it up for at least a couple of weeks. Make sure that they spend the next 10 years trying to rebuild their country rather than attacking everybody else's country. Maybe the world can get peace for a couple of years for a change. Israel's biggest ever air offensive. This is nothing. Iran is not even, it's just testing the defensive, but this is Israel's biggest ever air offensive. They're in for a shock. They're in for a beatdown is what they're in for. They're going to lose half their fucking country. And the only way they can recover from that is spend money on building their country instead of destroying everybody else's. Man, these people are fucking nuts, eh? I give them every opportunity to call into the show. They accuse me of not answering the phone or having the ringer off or something. They accuse me of all kinds of stuff. But for what? Because I'm talking. Let's keep going here. Waste another fucking breath on the people that are attacking me. It's just, I find it really interesting. I gave them every opportunity in the book to call in and have their say. Maybe they're smarter than me. Maybe I made a mistake. They can call in and correct me, see? That's why I always got my fucking phone number, sticking it on the screen for every show for over a decade. All they ever do is attack me, insult me, but they don't actually call in and debate me. Israel's biggest ever air offensive. That means Israel is doomed. Israel-Iran war. Pentagon positions warships in West Asia. Iran will flatten Israel before they get there. Yeah, the trolls are eating fools. They're sitting home in their mom's basement. Mom! Dana's making fun of us again. Tehran will burn if Iran and Israel's defense minister sends out a warning message. Israel's defense minister sends out a warning message. Tehran will burn if you don't stop beating Israel up. If you don't stop defending themselves... After Iran launches barrages of missiles on Israel in retaliation of the airstrikes by Tel Aviv, on its nuclear site, including Israel Defense Minister warned Tehran will burn if Iran fires more missiles. That's the equivalent to saying we surrender. It's just a matter of hours or a day or two for Israel is going to be waving a right flag. Israel just fucking... just acknowledged that they were whooped. Will pay a heavy price because of the criminal harm to Israeli civilians. Was quoted by saying by the news agency AFP. So, like, he's everywhere today. That story is Israel cats. If the Ayatollah Khomeini continues to fire missiles towards Israel, Tehran will burn. Israel Defense Minister warns Iran, Tehran will burn if you keep beating us up. So they're surrendering. That's a surrender. That's a surrender, isn't it? It's 41 years of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claiming Iran almost had a nuclear bomb, fear-mongering, but they attacked him. They got no proof they got a nuclear bomb. They attacked him after 41 years of accusing him because they weren't guilty. And so they had 200 jets that they got from Israel and other or from America and other countries. They can't build their own jets. And they can't build those bombs and those sophisticated equipment, so they have to get all that from America and the United Kingdom and France. What the hell, man? 200 jets? What the hell did he needed 200 jets for? Because they're attacking everybody. Somebody eventually going to punch back. And Israel attacked them for 41 years, demonized them, ostracized them, vilified them, marginalized them, land, sea, and air embargoes, and Iran has finally said, fuck it. And it's just testing their defenses. Israel knows it, and they got whooped. They can't stop anything. And so now he's gonna we're gonna nuke you. That's what he's saying right there. We're gonna nuke you. Israel warns of more attacks on Iran after Tehran's deadly retaliatory strikes. More attacks on Iran. I don't think Israel is going to keep attacking Iran much longer. Because this is going to happen all day, every day, but much worse. That's the reality, isn't it? Israel assaults on Friday used warplanes and drones smuggled into the country. So they have a terrorist cell in Iran, and they're surprised that Iran is upset because they're the most moral army in the entire world. They had a terrorist cell in the country. They didn't care who they killed in apartment blocks to get their nuclear scientists that are all replaced now, as usual. See, Israel has never looked like that. It's the first time we've ever seen a picture in Israel that looks like that. And the whole country is like, oh shit, we're not invisible. And all Iran doing is testing. Iran hasn't even sent any drones yet. Wait till the drones start showing up and taking out all their water facilities, their light and power, their docks for their container ships, which the lifeblood of Israel is the docks, and the airports are taken out. They can't believe it. What? How is this possible? We're Israel. Nobody can touch us. We're better than everything. All of a sudden, the facade of Israel being invincible doesn't hold up anymore. That's them surrendering. That's what that statement is there, that they can't win. They can't defend themselves. And so instant panic. And all the media, the entire media, all day, all this morning, since I woke up this morning, and I turn off the internet, I turn off the telephone, I turn off everything so I can get a few hours sleep. And I gets up and fires up everything, and I was like, what the hell? That's a surrender if I've ever heard it. What was Benjamin Netanyahu's last name again?
Mr. Natai is a graduate of MIT. He is an Israeli.
What's his last name?
And he is a man who has written widely on this.
How That's his official last name when he was a young man. Not Netanyahu, but Natai. Entire families wiped out by the Israeli airstrikes. That's okay. Israel gets struck back. Well, we're gonna have to nuke you. You can't fight back. That's outrageous. That's insane. Fighting back that's just wrong. You can't. We're Israel. You're not allowed to fight back. You're supposed to be miserable, not fighting back. Anyway. It's all great until somebody fights back. That's all I can say. Everything was doing wonderful. Then Iran started fighting back, and they were like, well, shit, this is not the way it usually works. The thing is, Israel just surrendered. That's the surrender they're doing right there. Israel just acknowledged they can't win this fight. That's what they done. I got no views, hardly whatsoever, nothing. I thought it was a pretty good show. I got no likes. Bless your hearts, I got 18 anyway. 22 votes. I work so hard, and I get so little. But the truth is worth it. I'm going to come out and tell the story as my whole life doing this. Back in the day, nobody would watch my videos. I'd do the whole show, nobody would watch the show. Nobody here. I'm still Dana, though. I still do my show. So, because I got another show ready to go. If I don't do this one, I'll be way behind. Alrighty. What do you think of that last song James put out, man? Wasn't there something? I think we should play that one again. Let's find that. There we go. Yeah, this was a crazy song. I love it. I'll catch everybody on the next show. I'm not sure if next one's nuclear or more of this stuff. It depends on how bad things get. I get the feeling Israel is going to start backing off Iran really quick. Real quick. Or they're going to really get fucked up. And we're going to play that song there from Chord to Collapse. From Chord to Collapse. Just give me a second. Man, that's a great song. And the first song I played came from this same site. It was called The Enrichment Man, the song that we started off with. I put a link, I think, in the description to the site. Alrighty, have a great day. Hugs for everybody. Take care.
Isotopes move.